Hey guys, you're watching an episode of Blacklist Builds. In this episode, we're changing the engine oil in this B8.5 S5. Before you start, make sure to raise the car. You can either use ramps or jack stands. Use the appropriate jack point locations. Step 1. Remove the oil filter cap. You can either use a monkey wrench or you can use a 36mm socket. Place it on here and just loosen that up. Also remove the engine oil cap. Air can flow freely and empty out the oil underneath. Make sure to grab a oil pan that can hold the capacity of the engine oil that you'll be pouring out. Once underneath the car, remove the belly pan. There are several screws on the perimeter of this belly pan that you need to take off. Make sure to place your oil drain pan underneath. Take a 6mm Allen key and loosen up the drain plug. So prior to draining your oil, make sure to heat it up by driving around for a little bit so the oil viscosity lowers and it can drain out smoothly. While you wait for the engine oil to drain completely, you can go ahead and start removing the oil filter and replacing it. You pop the oil filter off, oil cap. If you look inside the oil filter cap, you will see a gasket right there with the tab sticking out, which I've highlighted. So pull on that to remove the gasket. You can use pliers or your fingers to remove the gasket. Make sure to replace this gasket with the one provided with your oil filter. Take your new gasket, add some engine oil to the gasket to create a better seal. So don't forget to lubricate this gasket before putting it in. With the tab facing up, place the gasket into the groove inside the engine oil filter. So as you can see the gasket seated properly in there with the tab facing up. So this is your new oil filter. It doesn't matter which orientation you put it in into your oil filter cap. So place it through like that and click it on. Now it's in place. So as you can see right here, there is a gasket around the actual oil filter housing. So once you take the cap off, make sure to remove this gasket. You can use your finger. It's a little bit safer to use something soft so you don't damage the plastic, but this gasket will come out. This is the new gasket that comes with your oil filter. So grab some engine oil and make sure you lubricate this seal. Place it back onto the oil filter housing. Make sure it seats properly. When changing your oil, make sure to change your oil plug. This isn't mandatory, but I like to do so only because this is a few bucks to prevent any sort of problems in the future. If you're not going to get a new oil plug, definitely get a new crush washer. You cannot reuse these. Take your oil plug with the new crush washer and plug up your oil pan. Torque it to these specifications. You can use your oil of choice. My favorite oil to use is liquid Moly. Make sure to use the appropriate viscosity for your climate. Audi doesn't supply you with an oil dipstick, so make sure to purchase one. The oil filter will absorb some oil, so in order to get an accurate reading, we have to turn on the motor, let it run, and then measure it again. So one word of advice, as you pour the engine oil in, definitely use the dipstick to double check how much engine oil is inside the engine. Only because it's a lot easier to add engine oil rather than empty out engine oil from the engine. After turning on the engine for a few minutes, turn it back off, check the engine oil, add the appropriate amount that you need, and then you can button everything up, put the belly pan back on. With that, you completed your oil change. So if you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe. And lastly, I'll see you guys on the next episode.